Yes. This is Arthur Lewis with All Farm Gardening right here at the Grenada Food Forest, where my mission is to get you growing. I'm super excited about today's video because it's a new direction for this channel. You, the viewers out there, you've been asking me to make more videos, more tips on gardening, on growing. You've been asking me to help you get your garden started. I've listened to you, I've thought about it, and I realized that what I do here actually do have positive impact, and so I've decided that I am going to do more. So today, this is a new video in my gardening series. As I said before, I'm super excited. It's going to be amazing, and I look forward to growing with you guys. So a lot of things is happening with the world these days. A lot of things is changing, especially when you consider this COVID-19 pandemic that has happened, and gardening has come up on your radar, and you want to get into gardening but you're not quite sure if to start, how to start, or whatever. So what I'm going to do for you today is to give you 9 key motivators that contributed to me getting into gardening and that has kept me gardening. But before I jump into those 9 key motivators, I would like for you to take a minute to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and don't forget to like the video. Okay, so 9 key motivators for me starting this garden. And number 1 is connecting with nature. I'm a nature loving person. I love being in the outdoors. I love walking through the woods. I absolutely love being surrounded by plants and being surrounded by nature in general. If you're like me and you share that passion for nature, gardening is something that you could use to bring nature right where you are. You could grow your favorite plants, you could attract wildlife, you can sit in your garden, you could eat, you could take walk. What I especially like about the nature connection with gardening is that I can come to the garden, forget myself as an individual, silence my ego, and embrace the consciousness of being a part of everything. I am aware and understand my place in the grand scheme of things. I see myself as a part of the natural world, and I'm less likely to do anything that would harm nature and harm the environment. Not to get too metaphysical or hyper spiritual with this, but I mean, come on. You are literally taking care of other life forms. You're connecting and building relationships with plants. Remember, this is not a large farm where you just come and, you know, run a big set of tractor through the place or just spray everything. This is gardening, and gardening is love. Number 2, I think that gardening is therapeutic, and to be clear, what I'm speaking about here is the act of making physical contact with the earth. When we were children growing up, my grandmother used to tell us, you need to take your shoes off and run barefoot on the earth. She used to say that there is an electric current in the earth that your body needs to help you to grow healthy. That was years ago when I was a child. Right now, if you go into YouTube or you're going to Google and you type earthing into those search engines, you would realize that it's a big movement surrounding this whole thing. People are selling devices, people are selling books to help you ground yourself to the planet with a piece of wire to balance your body's natural electrical system. Well, this is something I could do for free in the garden. I could come up here, you know, I could take my shoes off, take my gloves off, take care of the plants, and get that good old electrical current balance that my grandmother used to speak about. And sometimes when I'm in the garden, I would actually hear my grandmother's voice in my head reminding me of all these things that I should do, you know, and we should never speak on the wisdom of our ancestors. So I come up here, I do it, and for me personally, it has a benefit. Number 3, gardening is very relaxing. You have no idea of this until you start a garden or get a garden going. Now, I know that gardening is hard physical labor, especially when you're doing new things like building new structures or setting up new beds. If the hard part of gardening is too much labor for you, you can always get a friend to help you out or hire some help. But gardening relaxes the mind because it engages you and it keeps you present. It quiets the racing mind, reducing mental stress and anxiety. As a matter of fact, research is now beginning to show that gardening helps the human body create less chemicals and hormones associated with fight and flight responses.
Really?
Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. Number 4 as a key motivator for me starting a garden and keeping me gardening is the prospect of learning a new skill. I spent over 20 years in IT, building and repairing computers and computer networks, implementing and rolling out IT solutions and new projects. So for me, gardening came like a new skill. I mean, I knew about gardening before because my parents did a little bit of gardening. I grew up in it. My grandparents did gardening for a living, but I had to learn a lot more intimate details to be able to do it on the level that I am doing it here at the Grenada Food Forest. Not saying that I know everything about gardening now, but just that I had to learn plenty, and so I know way more now than I knew before. And apart from learning a new skill, gardening also brings a nice balance to my life in relation to me as an IT person. So yeah, if you're looking for some balance, start a garden. So we're at number 5 on my list of key motivating factors for starting a garden and keeping it going. And the 5th motivating factor for me is a sense of accomplishment. Now, if you've seen computer gaming addicts, I'm speaking about people who play computer games and can't stop even if it's destroying their life. Okay, I'm thinking about whether this is a good reason or not. Anyway, the point I'm making is experts say that the reason why computer gamers game is because the game is filled with factors of accomplishments and achievements and rewards, so they actually feel as though they're doing something with their lives. Only that the achievement is not in the real world. For me, with gardening, when you plant a plant and you take care of it, and the moment comes for you to harvest the fruit from that plant, it creates such a powerful sense of accomplishment. And every time I speak to gardeners, they always say the same thing: young and old. That moment is almost like a high for gardeners, you know. It fills them up with so much of pride and so much satisfaction. And unlike computer gaming, the achievement is in the real world. So, what have we learned today? Computer gaming addiction, very bad. Gardening addiction, very delicious. 6 key motivating factor keeps me gardening, that helped me start the garden in the first place. Gardening is recreational. Now don't get me wrong, gardening is serious business, but it's playful serious business like professional sports. From downtown, when my children come up here to the garden, for example, they have so much fun climbing the trees, harvesting the fruits, and they love having their own gardening patch and growing their own food. Number 7, gardening is a decent workout and good physical exercise. Every time I'm in the garden, I end up pulling stuff, digging, turning over stuff. My body is kept in motion, you know, my heart is pumping, blood rushing through my veins. And if you don't know, yes, that's a good thing. So you're doing stuff, you're staying mobile, and you're keeping yourself healthy. Number 8, if you're thinking about starting a new business or trying to earn some extra income, a market garden could be a very profitable source of income if done correctly with the right research and the right amount of planning. So if you're thinking about starting a new business and you have the space to start a garden, get it going, and stay tuned to this channel for tips on how to grow and how to successfully be a gardener. Right, and so this is me probably saving the best for last with number 9, which is the food independence factor. And this could be my number 1 motivator for doing any kind of gardening whatsoever. The first shall be last. And I'll tell you a story. When the coronavirus hit and the whole place had to be locked down with all the curfews and all of that, and you had everybody rushing to the shop, panic buying, panic shopping, lining up, I was up here panic harvesting, panic sharing my food with friends and neighbors who came by, you know what I mean, because I just have so much stuff growing here at the garden. You have people coming here and living with bags of yams, bags of bananas. We had lettuce, cabbage, we had a ton, a cucumber, ginger, turmeric, you name it. Being in control of my own food source, being able to grow the things I like to eat the way I like to grow it, with love, without harmful chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides, and to have it fresh, grown by my own hands, going from the field to the plate, saving a ton of money. Food security and food independence means a lot to me as a person. It means a lot to me as a gardener, and I think this should also be a key motivator for anyone thinking about getting into gardening. So that was my 9 key motivating factors for starting a garden. It's what keeps me gardening. Thank you for looking at this video. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so. Like the video, and remember to check us out again for more gardening. And remember, get out there and get growing.